Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Layla if you are new here. This video is for anybody who is feeling behind in life, in any area of life, and my guess is that's a lot of people. I think you can be at any age and feel behind in life, and this is very common. I know for myself that I typically feel behind in life due to my debt. Sometimes I think that my business isn't doing as well as it should be or it could be, or compared to other people. I haven't invested enough money, I haven't traveled much, the list goes on, and I'm sure that you have your own list of negative thoughts about your life or about yourself. But I really want to encourage you to stop those thoughts today because they're literally useless. There is no point of thinking those things, and there's literally no such thing as being behind in life. The first thing to consider here is whose ruler are we using to measure our achievements, to measure our success or where we're at in life. You know, we can look at societal norms of, you go to college and you get married, you have kids, you have all the, like a good job and you buy a house, things like that. But that's not necessarily normal. There's no set rules for where we need to be in life at a certain age or the things that we have to have accomplished by a certain age. And what if you don't want to have, what if you don't want to go to school? What if you don't want to have kids? What if you don't want to get married? What if you have kids at 35? What if you get married at 21 or at 57? There's no set of rules. And if you're thinking that you need to be somewhere, that's just BS. Like, there is nothing stating we need to be anywhere. And you may have expectations for yourself. Like maybe when you were 18, you thought you would be at a certain place by 25 or by 30, but life happens and you are where you are. I think one of the biggest problems with this whole topic is that we compare ourselves. Either we compare ourselves to our peers or friends, our family even, and we expect ourselves to be in the same place that they are, or we see that we're doing better than somebody and we're like, oh, we're either behind or we are ahead of somebody. And you could also compare your life to somebody on YouTube or to an influencer on Instagram, but comparison is completely unfair and irrelevant. It's irrelevant because we don't know anybody else's story. We don't know anybody else's struggles. We don't know what they were given. We don't know their adversities. There are so many different aspects to everybody's life. We are all unique and we were all raised differently. We all have different experiences, and that's a good thing. It makes us unique and it makes our lives the way that they are. And so when you're comparing yourself, there is literally no point to it. So if, for example, I compare my business to somebody else who just started maybe like a year ago and they're in the same niche that I am or something, and they're doing a lot better than I am in that short amount of time, even though I've been working at it for years. What if maybe they've been putting in more work? What if they haven't been working full time or they don't maintain their fitness? Like, there's so many different aspects to everybody's achievements. It's also unfair for yourself and for other people to compare yourself to them because, one, if somebody else was taught something at a young age, or if they experienced something out of their control or out of your control, then there's nothing that you can do about that. It may suck that you weren't taught something and now you feel behind in life because you're late to the game or whatever, but that's just how things played out. So it's completely unfair to compare yourself. And also when you're comparing yourself, you tend to resent the other person. Like, you either feel jealous of them or you feel better than that person, and neither of those will serve you or your life. The other thing about comparison is nothing is as it seems. We see these people on Instagram or on even just Facebook, like your friends from high school, but we don't know the full story. And a lot of times they are either struggling with something or hiding something in the background, because what we see online are typically the good things. Instagram is a highlight reel. We're not seeing the reality all the time. And there's no need to be like, oh, that person isn't really doing that. But you just have to take a step back and recognize, like, oh, maybe that person has that really nice car and can travel all the time, but they have tens of hundreds of thousands of debt. Like, you don't know the full situation. Or maybe they literally are working all the time and that's how they get their success. Or maybe somebody just bought a house but their marriage is really struggling and they're not going to put that online. You know, they bought the house, they're going to show that instead. You know, with having so much access to other people's personal lives, it's easy to think that they have everything figured out, but that's typically not the reality. And you also don't have to put your struggles out there either. So you may look better than somebody else or worse off than somebody else based off of what you share. The point is that we all have a different journey and there's so much beauty in that. You are exactly where you need to be, and you know that that's true because that's where you are. And I find so much peace in that, you know, like I am exactly where I need to be. Even though I want to be somewhere else, it doesn't matter because I'm here. And what's more important is to enjoy the journey while we're going through it and appreciate what we do have and what we have achieved and look back and realize that we have actually accomplished a lot in our lifetime. I do have a couple of tips to offer for how you can stop feeling behind in life. Obviously, this is not an overnight fix. It's something that you have to constantly work on. But my first tip is to just focus on being the best version of yourself. You know, I am a strong believer in the fact that we should never stop improving. I think we can always be better. And the only person that we should be comparing ourselves to is who we were yesterday or who we were in the past. How can you make your life better going forward? Or how can you enjoy what you have right now? How can you enjoy the present? If you're paying attention to other people's lives, what is that going to do for you? That's not going to help you. That's not going to make you feel any better. All that matters is what you're doing and what you're focusing on. And if you are doing your best, even if it may not look the best every single day, you know, you have good days, you have bad days, you're still going to be trying your best. You've just got to put blinders to everybody else because it does not matter. Just focus on yourself, focus on your journey, focus on your goals and what you want to do and what it takes to get there. My next tip is to practice gratitude. Honestly, I think gratitude is the answer to a lot of our problems because if you just take a step back and look at your life and just feel gratitude for what you do already have, as cliche as it sounds, that helps so much in any situation because we really do have so much to be grateful for. I could name a list of hundreds of things right now in my personal life. And when we're busy comparing ourselves or just feeling behind in life for whatever reason, we forget about what we have done or what we already have. And we often need to remind ourselves of our accomplishments. And we can look back and feel gratitude for the things that we have done and for the things that we already have. Because if you're just thinking that you'll feel better over there, that you'll feel ahead over there or happier over there, whatever that could be, you know, at a new job, in a different relationship or in a relationship in general or at that weight or with that house, that is a misconception. You know, sure, that may increase your happiness, maybe overall, or it would increase your happiness at the moment, but that quickly fades away. If you've ever heard of the hedonic treadmill or hedonic adaptation, this is exactly what it is. Humans have a tendency to go back to their stable level of happiness despite any major life changes. So it could be a positive life change, it could be a negative life change, but you'll typically go back to where you were before. So if you just focus on the things you have now and finding happiness now, you will more than likely be happy no matter what. My next tip is to focus on creating better systems. I'm actually going to make a whole video on how to focus on systems rather than just focus on setting goals. Goals are still important, but just setting goals and having something in the future to focus on doesn't necessarily serve you. You know, for example, what if you want to buy a house or if you want to pay off debt? That is your end goal, right? So how do you get there? What do you need to do and implement in your life? What habits do you need to develop to get there? If you want to buy a house, you need to figure out how to pay off debt. You need to figure out how to save money, how to make more money. How can you increase your credit score? Same thing with, you know, maybe you want to get a new job. What skills do you need to develop? Who do you need to network with? There's all these steps that can help you get closer to that goal, and those systems, those habits, that discipline that you can develop in the process is more important than actually achieving the goal, because that's going to actually shape you into the person that you want to be and could be, and you're also going to go along this journey and grow from that in and of itself. My next tip is to avoid dwelling on the past. A lot of us look back at the past and either think that you should have or would have, could have, whatever, or you regret something that you did in the past, and if you could go back, all the things that you would change. But you can't. You literally cannot go back and change anything. So all that you need to do is look at those things that you did in the past and make sure that you're learning from that and improving upon that if you want to going forward. You know, there's a lot of things that I could look back on my past and say, oh, I could have done this better, or had I known this, I would have made this decision instead. But now I know, and that can shape my future right there. You can look back and understand that you would have made a different decision if you could have, but you cannot. So by looking at the past and dwelling on any of it, you are literally taking away your happiness and gratitude and accomplishments from the present and from the future. I think everybody at some point in time will feel behind in life or has felt behind in life. And that right there is proof that there is no measurement. There is no accurate measurement of where we should be in life at what age. Your parents can tell you, society can tell you, your past self could have told you where you should have been, but it doesn't matter. All that's important is you're doing what makes you happy, you're learning from your past mistakes or anything. You could be learning from somebody else, and you're just focusing on being the best version of yourself and doing the things that will get you closer to where you actually want to be. Like I said, we all have our own unique journey, and that is such a beautiful thing. Like, we can literally make this anything we want, and you can plan everything to a T, but things don't always work out as you expect them to, and nothing is guaranteed. So just enjoy the process while you're here and appreciate what you do have and just keep on going. I do have a blog post version of this exact topic. It's going to be linked down below, but comment down below if you have any further questions. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.